So we got a question.
Yeah, we got a final question for
season 2, we
2.
think, and it was a fitting one, especially with the plans we have for the end of the episode. And so the question was,
what type of sauce would go well with shark tenders?
And I think that inherently begs the question, do you think when the person asked this, they were talking about the dragon or actual shark, like chicken tender style shark pieces?
Possibly both.
Possibly both?
Yeah.
What's your opinion based on both?
Well, based on both, I don't know. I haven't had that much like fish or dragon meat. But I think...
Fish? What do you mean?
Well, like, I'm not like a person who like cooks fish, you know?
Well, no, but you've had fish.
Yeah. So I think maybe like a type of sauce that would go well on like shark tenders would possibly be like lemon juice sauce, maybe some herbs sprinkled on top, lemon juice mixed with a good dose of shame.
A good dose of shame.
Yes.
Nice. I would just say tartar sauce. Just basic old tartar sauce. Love tartar sauce. Put
Also
tartar
that.
sauce on everything. Shark meat, dragon meat, don't care.
Tartar sauce.
So if this was a little more morbid and it was actually spark render meat.
What?
And shark tenders, or do we go more metaphysical? What kind of metaphorical sauce can you put on shame? Shark tenders shame. Wow, that's a question too. I don't know.
Like what?
That's a question.
What type of sauce can you put on shame? You mean?
To make it taste better.
To make it taste better.
Sort of just like gaslighting. Lying to yourself.
Yeah, shame with a little bit of performance almost.
Oh, there you go.
Like,
yeah.
Like shamed, but you like don't want to be.
You don't want to be, yeah. So
it's like
you lie to yourself sauce.
Yeah,
like
a performative tartar sauce.
Performative tartar sauce. It's perfect.
There you go.
That's all we need.
There you go.
I'll get started on a recipe right away. All right, thank you for the question. And let's get on with the show.
Yeah.
Bum.
Ba-da-bum-bum.
Storm.
Ba-da-bum-bum. Bum. Ba-da-bum-bum. Souls. Ba-da-bum-bum. Bum. Ba-da-bum-bum. Dragon. Ba-da-bum-bum. Bum. Ba-da-bum-bum. Roll. Dadventurous. Welcome back to Dadventurous.
Yes.
We're back.
The exciting episode, the finale
We're
episode.
back for a climactic finale.
We are.
Or an anticlimactic finale, depending on how it goes.
All right. No pressure.
But yeah, this episode is gonna be the end of season 2.
Yeah, and I just want to say real quick, this is me clapping to the daughter. No, you're not supposed to clap.
Oh, me?
I'm clapping to you.
But I'm clapping you.
No, because you ran a campaign on a podcast.
In a long-form campaign, which
It
I
was
haven't
true.
done before.
How was it
Relatively.
as we go into the final episode?
I think it was exciting, stressful at times. I had way too much fun writing dumb stuff to happen.
Yep.
So,
And how'd you feel? You had to write some, you're following a module. What do you think you'll do next time?
I don't know. I might do something of my own creation next time.
That'll be fun.
Or I'll do something a more long form, since
That's
this
true.
was only 16 episodes, I believe.
Mhm.
But it's been fun.
You did wonderful. Well done. And
you know what? You did good too.
Hey, thanks. And we're gonna be back pretty quick.
Not
here
gonna have
and
a
then.
too much of a long break.
Nope, but we are going to come back into campaign 3. We've been toying with it. I will say now, think spooky, think
cliche,
kind of
as cliche
film
as humanly
noir.
possible.
Yeah, sort of nonsense like that. It's going to be a little bit more, I don't know.
Perhaps it's a little bit more dark.
Yes, dark indeed. But anyway, let's get back into the final episode.
Last week on Dadventurous, you, Hob, Alfred, Yarg, you guys were all fighting Sparkrender, this dragon. And you managed to free Adron, the captive dragon, and he helped
Bronze,
you out.
right?
Yeah, bronze dragon,
Okay.
just like Runara.
Yeah.
And he helped you out. in the fight. And you guys were actually getting Sparkrender down to pretty good health. You were dealing with him. And he was very hostile. And you felt the ground rumble. Sparkrender looked panicked. He flew down to the plaza. It turns out Olivia, Alfred's troublesome estranged sister, had rigged...
The true BBEG.
Maybe. Had rigged Sparkrender's ritual for her own nefarious purposes. And she ended up summoning and breaking out of her prison Sharuth, the ancient red dragon that you knew slumbered beneath the isle.
That's true.
You got Runara showed up in her full dragon form to help fight off Sharuth. And you, in a strange turn of events, Sparkrender actually worked with you guys and Adrian to help stop the ritual and stop Sharuth from getting to full power. You pulled out this small little crystal that seemed to have been screwed in to this big orrery and celestial model.
That's true.
And you managed to stop the ritual in time. And
just in time.
And you watched as Sharuth fell. She was weakened heavily by this, and everybody managed to help deal the final blow. And she fell down into the ocean. She said a couple last words about how you may have won the battle, but you have not yet begun to see the war until we meet again. And she actually cooled, like magma, into a basalt rock.
It's true. She became
her
own
stone.
little island. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you guys alighted on the beach, and I believe that is where we are now.
We are there now. I take a deep, heavy breath, and I go, oh boy, that was intense. Hey, Feathered Fangs, bring it in.
You guys are currently riding on dragons right now?
Yeah, I know, on the back of the dragon.
I think you say that.
Well, because Yarg was on a different dragon,
Yarg was
right?
on Adrian.
I say, Yarg, up top, and I hold up a high five.
Adrian definitely flies in so that Yarg can high five.
Nice.
And I like to think that you guys hit it, and right after Sparkrender dives down to the beach.
Was I? Because I was on Sparkrender.
Yeah, you were on Sparkrender.
And I go, oh boy.
And he just says,
careful, shark tender.
He alights on the beach and just says,
Does he dump me off?
Yeah, he just says, get off. And kind of not enough to throw you off, but tilts his back so that
shove.
you slide off.
I accept this shovery.
All right. As you guys alight on the beach and Yarg kind of comes up to you, you see Runara struggle out of the water because she was in the ocean. Mm-hmm. And she collapses on the beach. She's very, very hurt. She's got burns. Part of her wing is torn.
Can I rush over to her?
Yeah. I'm going to say Adrian also rushes over to her. And
I'm going to say I don't think it is meant for this. So I will you can tell me, Dungeon Master, if this works or not. I have from the Ruby Moral an elixir of health.
Oh.
It is technically not a healing potion, but it does cure things like being diseased, deafened, paralyzed, blinded. Do you think in this situation it would work to maybe help her out in a way?
I think she doesn't have any of those status effects on her right now. She's, if it stops burning or something, maybe, but
not for that.
Not for that, I don't think.
Okay, well then instead I will just offer her is she still in dragon form?
She is still in dragon form. Okay. She has not switched back
Runara, yet. I don't have much, but I do have one remaining healing potion. I don't know if you think that would do it. Or Yarg, hit her with your flask. Throw your flask on her.
Yarg, Runara looks concerned for a second as Yarg he reaches into his satchel, or no, because he has a bit of a sash.
Yeah.
And he reaches out and pulls out this now familiar to you little flask.
Right.
And he shakes it up and says, "Here goes nothing," and just throws it at Runara. She is a large enough dragon that the glass just shatters against her and doesn't do any damage. However, Oh, what are the stats for this? You see as this hits her, it is going to heal 1d4 plus 3
Nice.
health to Renora. So she gains 5 health back.
There you go. Little pop-up, little
and
cure there.
You notice some of her kind of perk up a little bit, and
Okay.
some of her wounds close, and she says, "Oh, thank you. Ugh, that was tiring."
Did you know that was Sharuth?
Yes,
That's crazy.
it was rather apparent.
Yeah.
Adrian, and she turns to him. He's kind of kneeling next to her.
Right.
You notice that Adrian was about the size of a bear.
Mhm.
He is a lot smaller than Runara.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
And she kind of says, "Adrian, you're back. I was so worried." And they start, Adrian says something back, but you can't understand it.
Okay.
And you notice you don't recognize the language. You've never heard it before, but
Are you implying that I don't speak Draconic?
you don't speak Draconic. Yarg does, but you don't.
Stupid Elvish.
And you can check your language list, but I'm pretty sure.
I know for sure I can only speak Common and Elvish. I'm just joking.
Poor Hob.
He never studied much in school
No.
anyway, so,
They start conversing in Draconic.
Okay.
And there is seemingly a lot of emotions going on. You can't quite tell. It's all weird.
While that's happening, I
Mhm.
lean over to Alfred.
Oh.
And I'm like, kind of feel weird standing here right now. It seems like they're having a moment. Should we, take 10 feet back?
Ooh. He
Okay.
nods.
And I just kind of grab Yarg, and I'm like, Yarg, come on.
Where do you go?
But towards Spark Render. Wow.
You got it?
I screwed my own name up. Yep, Spark Tent. Dang it. Spark Render. But I kind of want to huddle up with the feathered fangs.
All right. You notice Sparkrender kind of also picking through his wounds a little bit. He's off to the side, and kind of on his own at the beach. He's picking through. He seems to be looking himself over. He's got some lightning scars, but they seem to not be as severe as you might think.
Okay.
Him being himself a lightning dragon. Yarg hugs your waist
Oh,
suddenly,
yes, Yarg.
and
Well done.
and he shouts, "We did it! We did it!"
Yeah.
And he's very ecstatic.
I put my fist in and I say, we did do it as a team. Feathered fangs in the middle.
Yarg puts his fist in. Alfred puts his wing in.
Yeah, and I say, on 3. 3!
3.
I'm gonna raise it
I
up.
think they all raise it at different times.
We all say 3 at incorrect times.
Yeah.
All right. I would like to look over at Spark Render. Is he near enough that I can speak to him?
Yarg?
Spark Render.
Oh, Sparkrender. Yeah.
I say,
I think he's probably about 50 feet away from you.
okay. I say, hey, Big Blue.
Hmm.
Big Blue Dragon.
What is it?
So are you, cool now, or are you going to go try to summon more bad dragon powers?
Well, that time was unintentional. He kind of shakes himself off a little bit. He says, I don't know, I might leave this island.
That'd be good. You should do that.
He just glares at you, and you see his eyes spark a little bit,
Yeah.
but they fade out. And well, maybe I won't try this again for a little while. Perhaps it's best if I leave here for now. But you notice Adrian from behind you kind of perk up, and he actually leaves Runara and goes over to Sparkrender.
Yeah, they were kind of acquaintances anyway.
Yeah, they were. Despite Sparkrender actively capturing Adrian and getting into a fight, they seemed to have almost they were working together.
Right.
And you notice Adrian kind of reach out. He's just a little bit smaller than Sparkrender, and he says something in Draconic. And again, you can't quite catch this conversation, but Sharkrender. Wow, you really messed me up.
I've poisoned the minds. of both of
Sparkrender
us. Yeah.
turns around, and he has a very what is it look on his face, but they start conversing. And you kind of watch, and Yarg just says, I can't quite catch all of it. They're using some words I don't know, but they're agreeing on something. And you notice these two kind of conversing back and forth, and it's almost like a from what you can catch the emotions, but you can't catch they look to be having almost like a friendly argument sort of thing. And
frenemies.
Yeah, you notice Adrian reach out his claw. Sparkrender looks at it, and then they shake.
I go, hooray!
They just both look at you.
Sorry, I don't know if I was supposed to be watching that or not.
Runara, you notice she kind of stands up and comes over, and she kind of stands over Adrian a little bit protectively, and she also reaches out to Sparkrender. Yarg says, oh, that's interesting. Runara's inviting him to stay.
Really?
And you see she starts to say something, but Sparkrender cuts her off.
Oh.
He shakes his head and backs away and says a couple words both to Runara and then to Adrian, and then starts to fly away. And he goes back up to the observatory. And Yarg said he refused, though, saying that all the peace and niceties make him sneeze. He told her to take her lectures out on someone who's interested.
Nice. So I don't feel bad about doing this then, and I would like to pull out my lute, and as he flies away, I would like to play another rendition of the song.
Oh, nice.
Of the Shark Tender Lame Dragon song.
Nice.
I really want to, and maybe...
Are we going to make music for this?
Maybe we'll do this. I'm not sure, but I kind of want to sing it and put music to it.
We can do that.
We'll see.
Do that.
No guarantees, listeners, but at the end of this episode, if I am proactive enough, we'll throw in some music
All right.
to the Shark Tender thing. That's my challenge to myself. Anyway, so I strum the song again. Can I roll?
Yeah, roll a performance check.
Gladly. And the song, of course, being Shark Tender Smells Like a Low Tide Dock.
Wait, did you actually name it?
Well, no.
Oh.
That's decent with my skill. That is a 14.
All right. Sparkrender's still in earshot, and I think he kind of turns around, and you see him looking a little grumpy. His eyes flash again, but then he almost gives you a little smirk, and then turns around and disappears into the observatory.
Nice.
You hear Runara sigh, and a saying in common, one day. She turns to you and Yarg, and she says, I thank you for rescuing Adrian. I was very worried about him, and she puts a hand on his shoulder.
Yeah, no problem. We probably could have handled it completely on our own, but the fact that you showed up was just super neat.
Yes, thank you for stopping the ritual. I fear what would have come if you hadn't done that in time.
As she says ritual, my eyes light up, and I look to the sky. I look to the Sparkrender,
right.
And I try to go, wait, the ritual. And I look towards Alfred, and I said, Alfred, what do your elf eyes see?
Did you say elf?
Elf eyes. It was a joke to Lord of the Rings, the Legolas, what do your elf eyes see? So
all right.
It was a very bad joke. Yes, what do your elfin eyes see on the horizon? And I want to see if we can spot Olivia, the owl.
Right. Make a perception check.
My stats or Alfred's stats?
You can both make a perception check.
Whoa, okay. Well, very accurately, I rolled a natural 1. So I got a, 4. But Alfred got, and it technically would have advantage because it's sight, a 22.
All right.
But again,
all right.
I look to him and I say, Alfred, do you see something? And his eyes narrow, and he's like,
I think he,
ooh.
yeah, I think his eyes narrow, and then they switch the, they switch
back and forth.
Which one has raised eyebrow, and he you see him turn around on your shoulder. He scans the horizon, and he almost seems to say no, and then he looks up, and directly above you, and he just points with his wing.
Ooh.
And you see hovering above you, Olivia.
How high?
Not very high, actually. She's probably only 20 feet up. And she seems to be watching you. She's noticeably glowing far less now. She still has that little bit of a red power about her.
I stop my lute song and I take my spear and I point it up at her and I say, you're not welcome here.
You, again, hear her voice in your head, but it feels fainter almost. She's lost some of that connection. And she says, You fools! You may have defeated my mistress, but she will be back. I will make sure of it. All of you, especially you, fool brother. And she points a wing at Alfred. Will get what is coming to you. Queen Olivia will take her rightful place amongst the trees.
Yeah. I shoot her with a beak dart. Can I say that? Yeah.
You pull out the beak.
I do.
As
you can keep going if you want, but I
as
do want
you
to
pull
try
out
to
the
hit
beak,
her.
she shouts, "You have not seen the last of me!"
I rolled a 9, so I
right.
doubt I hit.
You don't hit.
Nice.
And she dodges that, and again, you feel the sort of fiery bit coming off of her. She seems to have a sort of connection.
Ooh, maybe like the bolt, or the dart, catches fire.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
And she turns around and gives one last spiteful look at all of you, and then attempts to fly away. The dragons don't make a move towards her.
Okay. As she flies away, I look at Alfred and I say, "Are you good with that? Is that fine?"
Let's switch perspectives for a second. Alfred.
Oh, yes. Hello, it is I, Alfred. Posh owl man, I think.
How do you feel about this?
I don't quite remember. I see Olivia fly away, and I look on with pity and disdain, and I think to myself, oh, dear sister, when will you ever learn that power isn't everything? And I just goes, tisk, tisk. And then I say, and then I think he thinks to himself, we'll see each other again, no doubt, but maybe next time it will be us that has the upper hand. And he gives her a resigned hoot.
She hoots back.
Hoot.
She Wait, he actually says hoot.
Yeah, he puts a T on the end. I hoot. There, I did it.
All right. That was pretty great. I wanted to hear Alfred's opinion on
Which,
this.
of course, in Hobbs' mind is just his eyes switching back and forth, his head turning awkwardly as he thinks to himself, and then his feathers ruffling before he says hoot. So,
we switch back to Hob.
yeah.
What was your reaction, do you think, of him putting a T on the end of that?
I say, Alfred, language. There.
All right. And you guys see that.
And she fly off,
She
over
flies
the
off
ocean?
Over the ocean,
Okay.
yeah. She seems to be leaving Stormwreck.
All right.
Runara was kind of watching that whole exchange, just to see what happens.
Yeah. I
But
look up at her and
I don't
say,
think she was particularly inclined to do anything about it.
yeah,
but,
I look up at her and I say, yeah, don't worry about it. Family drama.
I get that feeling.
Mhm.
But thank you for stopping the ritual.
No
And-
problem.
If you would like, you can come back to Dragon's Rest.
First, I have a question.
What?
Come down here, please.
She leans down. This huge
Yeah.
dragon.
Now, when I came here, myself, Alfred, and even
Yes.
Yarg here, and I pat Yarg on the head, we were seeking something.
Ah, yes.
And I was told that we could find it here. And in a way, I feel like we have. But was that it? Or do you think there's more?
Well,
Destiny.
cue epic music. She says, yes. She leans down to you and says, based on what you have done for Dragon's Rest and for me and Adron here, I think, though this might have been a part of your destiny, consider your actions over these past few days. And I think your destiny lies elsewhere.
That's what I like to hear.
I think someday you may become something great.
Wow. I feel very glowingly, awesome about that.
All right, I couldn't tell if you were either feeling uplifted or offended at
No,
that.
for
but,
sure.
Okay.
Very uplifted. Very glad to hear it because I sure do like finding my destiny. And I do feel
That's why
like
you
if
came
he ever
here.
found it, it would break Hob. No, I'm just kidding. It'd just be a ruined shell of a man.
Emotional trauma, heavily.
He really needs to be constantly trying to find his destiny. His destiny one day might be opening a bakery or something. But,
Oh, yeah.
That's for
No,
future
a
Hob.
really great... Wait.
What? What is happening?
What if one day his destiny is to start a biscuit bakery?
A biscuit bakery? Wait, why biscuits?
Parallel Pine Brook.
Oh, the biscuit thief. Ah, yes, there you go. The connection.
Sorry.
It's all full circle here, folks. One universe. Everything's connected.
We swear.
We swear.
Yeah, but she invites you to do that.
Okay. I tell her before we go back too, I think there's still some kobolds over there that might need some assistance.
As you say that, you notice a rustling in the bushes farther up the beach.
Okay.
And you notice two little winged kobolds that are familiar to you step out. It's Mech and Min.
Okay.
And they're holding hands, and they kind of start cautiously creeping forward down the beach. And Min taps Runara's tail. And she turns around, and he kind of squeezes his brother's hand and says, Miss, Dragon Lady, we heard that you know Mila. And Runara kind of perks up and says, yes, she's staying at Dragon's Rest. And they both perk up and say, can we come back? Maybe not to stay, but to visit. And she just goes, of course. Always more inhabitants are welcome. And they seem very happy.
Mac and cheese coming in.
All of the other kobolds have disappeared.
Did they go with Sparkrender in theory?
You don't quite know. You know a lot of them left, but you don't know if they came back up or anything. But
question, is this the same beach that there was a hot spring on?
I'm going to say you guys are probably on the other side.
Are we on like the other side where the bridge was?
Yeah, you're on the other side where the bridge was.
Cool.
Other side of the beach from where the hot spring was.
Okay,
I'm gonna say.
I see.
So you're probably gonna have to go around a rock outcropping or something. But
okay. I say, yeah, I'm ready whenever. I could use a rest and a hot cup of mushroom coffee. Is that a thing? Does Terok make mushroom coffee?
But it is.
Is it? I know, that was the joke. Is it, of course, maybe some sort of like bog bloom flower-based thing?
Wow, the amount of references we're making here in this episode are crazy.
One universe. We're basically Marvel.
It's all different stories until you realize
podcast universe connected
in one way or another. All right, Runara says, I'm not quite sure of Turak's coffee-making abilities, but maybe.
Well, only one way to find out. To badger him until he makes some.
Adron laughs with you at this.
Okay.
And yeah, you guys seem to have this moment. If there's anything more you want to say before you leave the beach.
No, was there... I had intended to kind of scope out Sparkrender's horde, but it seems as though he's probably raiding it now and taking it away.
I think you can't. He did fly into that room in the observatory.
Okay.
So.
I don't think there's much other than I would like to look at Yarg and be like, Yarg, how do you feel? Because, deep down somewhere you were kind of related to Sharuth, and I know that kind of made you mad earlier. But what do you feel? How do you feel about this whole thing and how it worked out?
He kind of tenses next to you a little bit. And he seems a little lost in his thoughts. And then he responds.
I reach out and knock on his forehead. Hello?
I'm here, I'm thinking.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I think, I don't know. I didn't feel like I knew her at all. I don't think she's really gone.
No, absolutely not.
I still have this, and he kind of rubs his forehead a little bit.
Where I knocked him?
No.
Oh, okay.
And he says, I have this weird feeling, like I can sense when she's here, I guess. I don't know. Ever since I came to the island, there was a little spark in the back of my head. Something that lit up with you know the word.
Yeah.
I thought it was nothing, but when she woke up, it flared up into a flame.
And now it's back down a little?
Yeah. It wasn't very nice. Now that she's asleep, it's a little spark again. It died down. It's not gone. And he crosses his arms. But she wasn't very nice either, so I feel happy. Take that, Sharktooth!
Yeah!
And he sticks out his tongue.
Yarg.
He high-fives you back.
And I go, And then I pause for a second, forgetting that they're nicknames, and I go, it's weird that all the dragons have shark-based names.
I know, right?
Even though it's just me being silly.
Yeah.
And then, if there's nothing else to be had here, I think I would ask for a ride.
All right.
I would like to hop on Runara's back, and I'm going to say, Runara, do you mind going up quite a bit? I kind of want to look out over the ocean.
Ah, yes, I think I can fly again. And she stretches out her wings. And you haven't been on a dragon this big before. Riding Sparkrender was already a huge step up for you. Runara is huge.
Cool.
She's probably
like
50 feet long at least. So,
whoa. Cool.
She has this huge wingspan and she flaps up and Adron flaps up behind her. She goes up probably not too far above the treetops, but yeah.
I'm curious.
You're probably about 150 feet up.
Could I try to see if I can see towards the observatory and see if Sparkrender is leaving?
Yeah. Make an investigation, I guess.
A 15.
15. All right. I think you guys are easily high up enough now to notice through the stained glass dome on top of the observatory a blue smudge that's moving around. And you notice he kind of moves around for a while, and as you see him kind of fly out actually of the hole, he doesn't notice you and disappears into the hole in the wall of the where Adron was.
Oh, okay.
And then, like, maybe you watch him for a couple more minutes. He flies back out, maybe with a sack full of something or other, and flies back in. He seems to be packing.
He's packing. Okay.
And
I leave it up to Runara. I say, well, I'm ready when you are.
All right. Hold on. And she bolts.
Woo.
And
I hold on.
Yeah. And
the hair whipping majestically behind me.
Whipping majestically.
Okay.
Yarn gives out a woohoo!
Yeah.
And I'm going to say, Alfred was flying with you before. He has to sit down for this.
I like to imagine he flies into my lap basically, and I'm holding him, and he's just doing that thing where when it's really windy and you can't quite keep your eyes open, and they're just blinking and flapping in the breeze.
Do you think they're still changing?
Yeah,
thickness,
they're still changing, but you can't. It seems like it's because it's so breezy.
All right.
And he actually looks a little grumpy.
I like that.
Yeah.
His feathers are ruffled, but not in the good way.
Yeah.
All right, you guys fly. It took you an hour to get out here.
By the way, that the whole Alfred thing is all based off the idea that the artwork for the wood elf fighter in Stormwreck Isle
had a round
little
owl,
kind of chubby owl next to him, and we've made him into this ridiculous character. Anyway, so you said about an hour?
Yeah, you guys, you took about probably an hour and a half to walk out here. Probably takes you 30 minutes to get back.
Oh, okay, yeah. Especially if she's bolting.
She kind of lowers a little bit as you come over this big, tall cliff on the northern side of the island.
Right.
And she alights on top of the hilltop and again, you're in this clifftop graveyard with all the white flowers and some of the grave markers.
Right. Brastus.
Yeah, this is where Brastus was.
Okay.
And she lands and waits for you to get off.
Thank you. 5 stars.
Thank you. I feel like I should give you some reward for doing so much for us.
I do that thing where I'm like, oh, you don't have to do that, but I'm super excited to potentially get a reward.
Go back down to Dragon's Rest.
To the temple?
Yes, go back down, rest and recuperate, and I'll be back.
Oh.
And
okay.
She kind of turns to go. Adron kind of reaches out for her, but then she goes, you too, Adron, and then flies off towards the southwest. And
the observatory?
The observatory was in the southeast.
Oh, okay.
So this is more in the direction of the Myconid caves, but not quite.
Okay. I say, well, I suppose it's time for us to go get some nappies. And I start making my way down the hill.
Adron kind of, he goes in front of you, actually.
Oh.
I think he kind of dashes down in front of you.
Oh, cool.
And once you reach the temple, again, with this column, it's got columns looking out to sea. Part of it's cut into the cliff face. There's this huge statue of your grandfather, Brian Hobrandel Glistendeer, in the middle.
For sure. 100% Brian. I would like to nod give the sup nod to
Sup
the
nod?
statue as it comes into view.
All right.
And I say, grandfather, good to see you there. You're looking like you haven't aged a day.
You get no reaction from the statue.
Okay. Should I have gotten her? It's a statue, isn't it?
Well, you keep seeming to expect something from the statue. So yeah, you get no reaction from the statue.
I think I
It's a
just
statue.
want something that Grandpa Brian never gave me, which was like respect or love,
acknowledgement.
acknowledgement. No, I'm just kidding. I said he taught me things.
Yeah.
I think I just miss having a mentor like that sometimes, you know.
All right.
Does Adron stay a dragon?
Adrian does stay a dragon.
Oh.
You've seen Runara switch before
yeah.
into your human form. Adrian
But
stays.
Adron doesn't have that power, maybe.
Again, you know that he is a wormling.
That's true.
He's young on the scale of dragons. He's for maturity, he's probably in his teens.
Okay. Then I would.
And he kind of like trots around the temple happily,
okay. Cool.
and he says, "I haven't been back here in so long. I'm excited."
Good.
And
Well, it was good meeting you. It was good saving you.
thank you for
And
that.
Don't worry, you're in good hands. And I point at the statue and then walk away.
He kind of like freezes, looks at you for a second, cocks his head. Goes back to exploring the temple.
I make my way down the hill.
right. Yeah, you notice some of the kobolds scampering about. As you come down this cliff path, you
I
can
guess
see.
the Mac and Min were with me too.
Oh yeah, Mac and Min are with you, and they seem very nervous. They keep kind of like looking around, wondering if something's going to jump out at them. They seem on edge, and you go down the path. I'm gonna say probably you reach the area where the library and the kitchen are, about halfway up the cliff face, and halfway up the path anyway. And you notice Mila coming out of the library with a stack of books. And she actually can't see you because she's got too many books
Oh.
at the moment right now.
Yeah. I lean towards Mac and Min and I go, I think that walking pile of books might be somebody you want to see.
Oh, and Mech and Min both rush forward. They're still holding hands, and they just both peek around the stack of books at the same time. And Milo just drops all of them, and she goes, Mech, Min, and they both just shout Mila at the same time, and they get into a big group hug.
Nice.
And
I put my arm around Yarg and I say, boy, isn't that nice to see? Just a reunion of sorts where the other one doesn't try to kill you, take over your theoretical kingdom. I look at Alfred. Or, become some sort of giant evil dragon that tries to take over the world.
Yeah, that would be nice. And at the same time, Alfred goes and nods and says, ooh.
That's why we're the Feathered Fangs, Just a bunch of trauma kids.
I think we've all got childhood trauma of some sort.
That's what makes for good storytelling.
That's kind of true, actually.
Anywho, cool. If there's nothing immediate.
You guys notice. I'm gonna say there is something immediate.
Oh, okay.
Mila and Mac and Min all hug each other. Mila seems older than the other two.
Yeah.
And all of the other kobolds that are outside hear this and just look at Mila and look at you, and you hear a bunch of shouting at once. You can't quite pick out the words, and you're getting a little bit of deja vu as all of the kobolds rush up to start asking you a whole bunch of questions.
I see.
Like, where have you been? And
Bottom dragon. Yeah.
Oh, which dragon? What did you look like? And
and I just break through it all.
Yeah, you guys, they keep asking you questions.
Yeah, I think every time they ask me, the story gets a little bit more far-fetched.
All right.
Just because that's how Hob works.
All right, I like it. I think Yarg kind of just politely turns down any questions. And
fair.
You guys
I think I would just kind of party with the kobolds, maybe pop in for a little talk with Tarok and maybe a drink. And then ultimately, I would just kind of go to bed and rest.
I think you you probably spend, I'm going to say, after about like 30 minutes of this, of you just hanging out with the kobolds, you didn't hear anything. But you notice on the path walking down is Runara in her human form again. She's still kind of cut up, actually, in the same places that her dragon form was.
Okay.
But again, she's this elder human lady, white curly hair, olive skin, you know. And Adrian is walking down by the side her, still in his dragon form. And you see her walk down. And all of the kobolds kind of part at her and at her entrance, and a couple of them are just like staring at Adrian, and you hear a couple whisper, "He's back," and you get the idea that yeah. Okay. And she walks up to you and says, "As thanks for helping out Dragon's Rest in all the many ways that you have. Well, I don't have a lot," but she pulls out from one of the pockets of her robe a potion of healing.
Okay.
Or 2 potions of healing. And she gives one to each of you.
Okay.
Each to you. 1 to Hob and 1 to Yarg. And she also pulls out 2 small pearls. And they are very nice looking. A little big on the size of pearls. And they're nice and shiny. And she says...
Are they just like white pearls?
Yeah, they're just... seem to be just normal white pearls. Okay. And she... hands them to you as well and says, "As payment."
Oh, thank you. How much are these bad boys worth?
And she goes, "About, I think, let me see, I haven't cataloged. I believe 100.
Each?
Each.
Whoa, and I got 2 of them?
Yeah, you got 2 of them.
Cool. Thank you, Renara. You have been nothing but awesome.
Thank you. You are welcome to stay at Dragon's Rest for as long as you wish, as if you wish to find more peace here, or...
Well, we already talked about this a little bit. I'll stay, I'll rest up, but I think the Feathered Fangs have a date with destiny, and I don't think that date is on this island. I don't know where I'm going with this, but yeah, I think we're gonna leave.
It's at a fancy restaurant somewhere.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, yeah, I think we'll leave. But maybe tomorrow. Maybe in a day or 2 after resting a bit.
It's been nice having you here.
Oh, thank you.
And she gives you a warm look and turns back up the path. And Adrian kind of nods at you. And you notice he's actually got a pair of goggles on his head.
Awesome.
And he seems to be a little bit back in his happy-go-lucky demeanor.
No, that's good.
And you guys watch as they go back up to the temple.
Yeah, I mean, I would just go to bed.
You'd go to bed? Yeah.
Yeah, I'd rest for the night.
You have dinner.
Okay.
It's delicious. You
I'd like to
rest
go
for
over
the night.
to Varish. What was her name? I called her Varnish.
I
wrote Varnish.
You actually wrote
I think
Varnish?
it was like Varith.
No, it was an S. It was a V. You know what? I actually don't know right now. Let me look.
It's in the module.
Oh, sorry. No, I remembered her name. Varnoth.
Varnoth. I go over to Varnoth during dinner and I pat her on the shoulder and I go, "I'm sorry we never chatted or really learned anything about your backstory, but you seem cool." And then I walk away.
I'm fine with... Okay.
I just wanted to reference that I never talked to her.
Yeah, you never did talk to her.
I didn't, for whatever reason. I just latched on to
hyperfixated onto Turok.
Not sure why.
All right. Yeah. You
and then I would
go
to bed.
I think Yarg probably stays up a little bit. He's
Yeah.
tinkering with his alchemical gadgets. But yeah, you go to bed. You have a peaceful rest. You wake up in the morning to this beautiful sunny day.
So I get a long rest.
Yeah, you get a long rest. And you wake up this morning to this beautiful sunny day. The wind's blowing. There's seagulls outside. Everything seems very nice.
I do my morning push-ups.
Right, you do your morning push-ups. How many do you think you do?
7,000.
That's a lot of push-ups.
No.
Maybe like...
It's a crisp 50.
Crisp 50. All right, I like that.
And every time I do a set of 10, I drink some coffee.
Yeah.
Power wake up.
All right, I like that. I think Yarg probably gets up and actually does probably about 10 push-ups with you.
Hey, Yarg, nice.
And yeah, you guys go out I'm going to say, into this plaza. Again, the huge statue of Astalagan, who Runara said was family.
Right.
And you notice Adrian standing outside.
Oh.
Kind of at the statue. And he perks up and looks at you.
Can I call you Big Bronze?
What?
I don't know. I'm workshopping some nicknames over here.
Oh.
Or like...
I've never had a nickname.
Or like... I don't know. I gotta think about it. Adron the Destroyer. That's kind of crazy.
But that's too long to be
What
a
about
nickname.
Goggles?
I kind of like that.
What's up, Goggles? And I go over and hold out a fist to be fist bumped by
He,
the dragon.
Yeah, he fist bumps you
Nice.
very gently because
Okay.
he's still a big dragon. And he says, Runara wanted to see you
Oh, okay.
in the temple. I think there was something about... Honestly, I don't know what. She asked me to go get you.
All right. Up the hill we go.
Right.
I rush up the hill.
He stays behind, actually. Yarg comes with you too. And Alfred's probably just shaking off his morning sleepiness as you come up. And you notice Runara kind of look at you, and she's standing at the base of the statue.
Ah, yes.
And she says, Hob, I believe there's... She glances up at the statue. Someone here who'd like to meet you. And she...
I look around.
There's nobody else here.
I talked to Varnoth last night. I think we're good.
I mean here, right now. And
Okay.
she steps back and gestures towards the statue.
Who, Brian? Grandpa Brian? Is he here right now? Is he the statue? And I rush up and I touch the statue.
All right, as you touch the statue, she doesn't get a chance to answer. As you touch the statue, you feel this platinum-colored light just burst out of the statue. And time seems to freeze.
Whoa.
And it's just you. Runara is frozen. Time seems to freeze. The seagulls outside are frozen. The wind you don't feel anymore. But you, Yarg, and Alfred are
in this
time
zone.
stop.
Okay.
And you hear a voice in your head. Hello, I am Bahamut. I'm
sorry, what? It sounded like you said not Brian.
Who?
Well, my grandfather Brian, right?
This voice, I'm gonna say, does sound oddly like your grandfather.
What? Does it? Is it?
Just to add the extra doubt.
Wait, yeah.
I don't know of who you speak, but...
I chuckle. Classic Brian. Go on.
I thank you and this young kobold here, and also this owl, for the good you have done these past few days. This place is important to me. As thanks for your foiling of evil, I would like to grant a gift upon you. And you feel this surge of energy go through you.
Whoa.
And we're going to say this is officially the point where you level up to level 4.
Oh, cool.
And
If we ever play
yeah, if we ever play this again,
Okay.
you get a boon from Bahamut / maybe your grandpa Brian. Who knows?
Oh my goodness.
Just to add the extra doubt in there. And he says, you have done well, and you will do more good. Farewell for now. And the glow fades, the voice fades out of your head, and Runara and time unfreezes.
Whoa.
You feel the breeze again, the seagulls start flying again. Runara's standing in the same position, kind of pleasantly looking at you.
I say, now I'm really confused because maybe Brian was a nickname all along.
What?
Oh, it was my
I
grandfather in there. But he said his name was like Bahamut or something. I don't know. You ever know somebody forever and then you find out that they've been using their middle name the whole time and you're like, do I even know you?
I haven't had that particular experience before, but...
Yeah, it was like that, only, more Brian-y. But then I look at her and I say, but I feel so good. I got a boon.
Ah, yes. I was wondering what he wished to speak to you about.
Nice.
Bahamut does not grant boons lightly, so...
Cool.
Yarg also seems perked up, and
Nice.
himself being sort of a dragon person seems very energized. She says, I believe breakfast is nearly ready.
Okay.
And I've gotten word that a certain trade ship is coming in today. So this is your chance to leave.
All right. I think we'll take it
All right.
to breakfast.
Yeah, she leads you down.
Okay.
Everybody congregates in the breakfast hall. Adrian kind of sits next to Runara in that corner of the room. Not at the table, but he is eating.
Yeah.
And yeah, you guys all, there's pleasant chatter.
Can I do something?
What?
I have not stealthed much in this campaign.
No, you haven't. But you do have boots of elven kind.
Is Tarok cooking? Is he serving?
I'm going to say today you do notice that Tarok comes out last with his own plate. And he seems to have been the one in the kitchen.
Okay, I would like to kind of swing wide while he goes to sit down to eat.
Okay.
And I would like to try to stay out of his view, and I'm going to try to stealth up on him.
Make an advantaged stealth check since
Because
you
of my
do have
boots?
your boots. Yarg doesn't come along with
A
you.
21.
Oh, all right. Yeah, you easily sneak up behind him. He's chatting with some of the other kobolds. What do you want to do?
I would like to sneak up on Tarok. I would like to get really, really close to him, as close as possible. And then I would like to pull out my lute.
Wait, what?
Get it right up next to like his ear. And then I say, attack! And I strum really loudly. And I want to see what his spy reflexes do.
Oh, this is a test.
It's a
All right.
test because I know his backstory now.
You.
I just go, strum.
I think he definitely just like jumps up and whirls around and he seems to almost like ready his fists. He almost like, you do notice he kind of reflexively reaches for a side of his robe, but there's nothing there. It seems to be a muscle memory. And then he spots you and he kind of like quickly relaxes his hands and says, Hob, what was that?
Well, some of us are dragon slayers and some of us are secretly maybe more than cooks, That's for our destinies to figure out. And I wink at him and I say, thanks for breakfast, Tarok the cook.
And
I give him a smile.
Like a smile, like a cheery smile, or like a
I know what's up smile.
Kind of like he looks confused for a second and then narrows his eyes slightly.
Nice. I high five Yarg and I say, totally a spy. Super spy. Did you see those spy reflexes?
Yarg was definitely watching and he's just like, honestly, I don't know what you were testing for, but that was great.
Yeah. I don't really know either, to be fair. Sometimes I just do things.
That seems pretty accurate.
All right, I finish up breakfast.
Yeah, you finish up breakfast. As you go out, you notice on the horizon this familiar-looking ship come in, and this trade ship that you came to Stormwreck Isle on, and it eventually docks at the dock, and there is a little rowboat that rows out from the ship to go, and they have a little. You remember you seeing a platform that hangs down on the water.
Mm-hmm.
People start loading. Row to it. Yeah, people start loading crates and one of the kobolds rushes down to go have a little crank. It seems to be a whole procedure. And Runara, you didn't notice her, but she stands next to you and says, well, I believe this is your ride out.
I believe it is. Runara, it's been eye-opening, it's been fun, and most of all, it's been destiny.
I would agree. And we all are glad to have met you.
I hold out a hand, and I want to give her one of those cool forearm handshakes.
All right, she definitely returns it.
We do the big cool forearm handshake.
And you
make my way.
You make your way down.
I say my goodbyes to everybody. Wave at all the kobolds.
Yeah, the kobolds kind of wave you off. Adrian in the back is also waving. Varnoth kind of just looks at you with crossed arms and shakes her head a little bit. Tarox got his hands behind his back and gives you a little wave. But
nice.
You guys
I
go down.
make my way down to the dock.
Yarg ducks into your room for a second and hitches up his full
gear.
satchel.
Okay.
And comes out with you and says, "Hey, can I come with so we can?"
Oh, yeah. I wasn't even questioning that. I just assumed you were coming. I kind of feel
The
bad.
feathered fangs continue.
Okay, cool, because now I felt a little bad that I just assumed that. But yeah, no, for sure, you should come.
All right. You guys head down. The breeze is ruffling your hair. You guys get picked up on the rowboat.
As I'm rowing out to this boat,
Mhm.
my eyes are keeping an eye on the water.
You notice nothing.
All right.
And you talk to the captain again.
Yeah. As a captain, good to see you again. You'll be glad to know.
Good to see you as well.
Yeah, you'll
sir.
be glad to know that I found my destiny.
Oh, that's what
Yep.
most people come here looking for?
Mine was dragons. Big ones. Big super fire dragons. And
What?
an owl. And I think also friendship.
He kind of gives you a weird look, and he's just like, shakes his head and goes back to the wheel.
Yep.
And you guys set off. You take your last look at Dragon's Rest.
I do. I kind of keep it on the. Can I stand like near the back of the ship?
Yeah, you're standing near.
Watching it go and sort of just.
The sunlight's shining down on it.
Nice.
Maybe it's possibly a little overcast, but there's this beam of sunlight coming through the clouds. It's very
Beautiful.
Like, this
Got
nice
the rays coming through. Oh
yeah. And no storm threatens the horizon this time, and the wind is actually blowing in the right direction to floof your hair.
Beautiful.
The waters are calm. Everything feels like the start of something new. You're heading out to adventure. Destiny. You can't wait to get started. All of a sudden...
Oh, no. I was about to say.
The piece is broken by a splash and a thump on the deck behind you. You turn and find a familiar fish person, a marrow, staring at you with orb-like eyes. Again, this weird part fish person. Kind of looks like a mermaid, but the fish drags up into the human, scaled blue. He's twirling a harpoon on a rope next to you. And he says, "Why, hello again, my arch nemesis. Ready for a rematch, Landwalker?"
Wait.
And that is where we will...
Wait.
What are you going to do?
I would like to turn and face him. I'd like to think that I have my axe on... No, spear to harpoon. I set the axe down. I pull out the spear, and I hold it out to him, and I look at him, and my eyes narrow. I like to think the wind is blowing sideways.
Yeah, it's blowing your hair.
Yeah, I'd like
in
to
the right
think
direction.
Yarg and like Alfred step forward, and I put my hand out and I say, "This one's mine." And I hold my spear out and I look at him and I take a fighting stance. Maybe a little sea breeze wafts by, and I look at him and after he says that, and I say, "Looks like someone's got to learn the lesson the hard way."
And that is where we will end Dragons of Stormwreck Isle Season 2. You did it.
That's epic.
All right.
That was amazing.
Were you expecting that ending?
I had a feeling Fishman would come back, but I loved it. That was awesome. Thank you for allowing me to add some nonsense dialogue, as I love to do.
All right.
Well done.
That was interesting.
It was great. You did it. We did the first thing. That's so exciting. I'm glad. I had a good time.
I think we both had a good time.
Hob was a fun character to play.
It was very fun listening to your dumb stuff that you say.
Yeah, I'll have to play a more like a different character next time where he's like maybe a little less
less silly.
Less brash with his decisions and things like that.
That was pretty great though.
Yeah.
I loved all of the random like details, like the amount of details actually that I just put in there randomly that became major plot points are
you did good because
surprising.
How far did we end up kind of deviating from kind of the base Dragons of Stormwreck Isle? I know like there was some basic stuff in there, but you changed a lot and you wrote a lot.
Episode 8 was completely off track.
Which one was 8?
I think 8 was Olivia's episode.
Oh yeah,
was completely
I knew
off
that.
track. Also, various appearances of the crystals outside of the Myconid caves was not written in.
Mhm.
From the moment the ground started shaking in your Sparkrender fight was the moment we've completely deviated.
Oh, okay.
And everything after that was just
Well done.
base writing.
And
So,
you
yeah.
added Yarg. Yarg was your creation.
Yeah, Yarg was my creation. Alfred was your creation.
Yeah. Cool.
Several random NPCs were. Jeffrey the Badger wasn't in it at all.
What? He wasn't stock?
Nope.
Well, and
he
this
was
whole
completely-
Sharuth part, right? 'Cause,
Yeah, the whole Sharuth part.
Like you were saying, after Sparkrunner, that was all you. That was awesome.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun. That was great. I will level my guy up to level 4 just for fun. Maybe we'll come back
maybe
for
we'll
Hob.
come back. Maybe Hob will have his destiny somewhere else.
Yeah, maybe it's under the sea,
Ooh.
battling the fish people.
Yeah, maybe your true arch nemesis. Yeah.
I love it.
Thanks,
All right.
thanks for that ending.
Thanks for the campaign. Hope you guys all enjoyed it.
And thank you all for listening.
Yeah, and good work, daughter. You did a good job. Fist bump
Thank
across
you.
the table. Nicely done.
Woo. All right.
And I think without further ado, we'll end this episode
And we'll
Not-
see you
not on a see you next week,
on a see you next season.
on see you next campaign. And here at the end, we will say one more thing, and that is, hope you enjoy the song. Shark tender smells like a low-tide dock. His treasure is bad, just copper and rocks. He can't fly straight and he can't roar strong, so we'll sing about him in this great new song. Worst dragon ever, slow, dumb, and lame. Even the ocean laughs at Shark Tender's shame. Scales all crusty, tail full of fleas. His wings can't even kick up a breeze. His claws are dull and his breath does reek. His brain is pudding and his tail is weak. The worst dragon ever, lazy and lame. Even the kobolds laugh at Shark Tender's shame. Okay, bye.